Hey campers, I hope you guys are having a great day. And I am very excited today because today I am going to be doing a very fun video with you guys. We are going to be learning how to paint watercolor roses. And these are some of my favorite things to paint. They're super duper fun and super duper easy. So I can't wait to share this skill with you guys. And yeah, so okay, in order to do this painting, you will need some watercolors, of course. I got mine off of Amazon and I love these. They're so super pretty. And you'll need some paper. I like the specific drawing paper that you can get at like Amazon or Target. You can just buy these notebooks there, and I think the watercolor roses look prettier on this type of paper. And then you'll need some paintbrushes. I have a lot here, but you won't need as many. I actually just use this brush. This is my favorite brush. It has kind of a skinnier tip. So, and I like that for these types of roses, or yeah, for these types of roses. So if you guys have a skinnier brush like mine, I would suggest using this one. And then you'll need some water. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm just gonna kind of swirl my paintbrush in my water, and I'm gonna open my watercolors, and I'm gonna set everything up and put everything next to me. Get my paper towels ready. And yeah, okay, so let's get started. Okay, hi guys, I just wanted to adjust the camera so that you could see everything. So I have my paper, my water, my watercolors, and my paintbrushes. And oh, my paper towels are up here, you can kind of see them. And I'm ready to go. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is clean off my brush, dip it into the water, swirl it around, swirl, swirl, swirl. And then I'm gonna kind of just roll it around on my paper towel here because it's pretty sopping wet. And then I'm gonna wet it a little bit more and kind of wipe it off. You want your brush to be really wet for this painting because it'll make the roses look really pretty. So I would suggest just making sure it's super wet but not too wet, if you know what I mean. I know it's a little confusing. Just make sure your brush is wet. And so the first color that I'm gonna take, I think, is going to be this color right here. It's kind of a magenta sort of color, and I really like this color for my roses. I love pink roses. So you can totally do another color, whatever color you want, does not matter. I'm just gonna go with pink. And I'm just gonna go ahead and swirl my brush in there and get some water on it, pick up some water and put it in here. Okay, so I'm done swirling my color around in some water, and I'm just going to kind of pick up that color on my brush and dip it back in so that there's not too much color. I'm going to dip it back into my water. And okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to kind of make a really sort of swirly thing. So just going to make a little swirl on your page, kind of like that. And it doesn't have to connect like that. It just has to be a swirl, just like that. And then after you make that swirl, you can pick up a little more color, but dip it into your water. Every time you pick up a color, you should dip your paintbrush into your water. And then after doing that, you're just gonna kind of make a few lines around the swirly that you just made on your page. Doesn't matter how many, just make a bunch of lines around your swirly. Okay? And so after you make those lines, go ahead and make some bigger lines by pressing your brush against the paper and then swiping so that it makes a big stroke instead of a skinny stroke. This is kind of what will make your rose petals. I'm going to put a little more water onto my paintbrush. And I'm going to continue all around my rose until I have all the petals that I want. And so there, you guys just made your first rose. So I did 4 petals, you can do 5, you can do however many you want, but this is just kind of the basic way to make a rose. So I'll make another one for you guys. So I'm just going to swirl my brush in my water, and I think I'm going to take another color. I think I'm going to take this pinky color. It's also kind of a dark pink, and I'm going to swirl that around my paintbrush, and that's kind of a lot of color, so I'm going to dip it back into my water and wipe it off on the sides. And then I'm going to go ahead and make another swirly. So I'm just going to, just like that. And then I'm going to start drawing my lines. And you can kind of go outside a little bit too. It's kind of depending on the size of your rose too. So I kind of want to make a little bit of a bigger rose so that it overlaps with this one. So I'm going to start making a lot of lines. And so after I've made those lines, I'm going to end my rose by making my petals. So I'm going to pick up a little more color and a little more water, and I'm going to press my paintbrush against my page and make a big swoop like this. And I'm just going to go all around my rose until I have as many petals as I want. It's okay if your roses overlap. I actually think it makes them look really pretty. Actually, I'm going to pick up a little more water and go over my roses because it actually sometimes has a really nice effect on the roses. For this one, I'm going to use a little more color because it didn't really show up. And so yeah, okay, so I have a big rose and I have a small rose here. And yeah, I think I'm going to do one more actually. So I think I'm going to do one up here, but you guys don't have to. Whatever you want, but I think I'm just going to do one more small rose. So I'm going to show you guys how to draw a smaller rose. So again, I'm going to make a smaller little swoop. Oh, that kind of got a little blended. That's okay, it doesn't matter. It actually looks really cute like this. So and then I'm just going to draw about 3 or 4 lines, and then I'm going to make my big petals. And I like it when the roses overlap with each other, so the petals can fall into the other 2 roses. So let me move my camera a little up so you guys can see that. So there, so we have our roses. So now I'm actually going to go in and add a little bit more of a decoration to my roses. So I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then I'll be right back to show you how I kind of like accent or add a little something special to my roses. All right, guys, I'm back, and my flowers are pretty much dry. It doesn't take very long for them to dry, especially because I'm sitting outside and it's very, very hot today. So that helps a lot. So for pink, I actually like to take this yellow right here and just take a little bit of that color, put it back in my water because that's a lot. And I actually just like to go inside my roses and just kind of put a little bit of yellow anywhere I think it'll look pretty. Sometimes I need to pick up a little more water so that it fades into the pink a little bit better. But yeah, I usually just put a little bit of yellow into my roses. I think it makes it look like a sunset, almost like a rosy sunset sort of look. And I really love sunsets and pink roses. So, and what's better than having a flower look like a sunset? Am I right? Okay, so I'm just kind of going in with that yellow kind of everywhere. I like it. I think it's really cute, and I think it brings the flowers to life a little bit. And yeah, just kind of, and it doesn't even have to be like super duper yellow. Like it can be super faint, like the yellow I just put in my top rose. See, I don't even know if you guys can see that. But yeah, and if you want to ever, like, if you think the color is a little too much or it's a little too harsh, you can just take some water and just go over that line that you just made and soften everything up a bit, which is what I'm doing right now. So it kind of blends together a little bit better. Super pretty. So yeah, so I'm just kind of blending my color with my water right now. Just kind of going all over. And yeah, okay, so there, I have a little bit of an accent to my roses, and I really like that, and I think it's really pretty. So you guys can do that. Okay, so now I'm actually gonna wait for my roses to dry a little bit, and I'm gonna go over them with more of my pink, because I think that it'll make the roses. So what you wanna do with these roses is you kind of wanna start out with like a really light base, let it dry, and then you can layer on top of it with more color, which is why these roses are a little bit darker, because that's exactly what I did. I went over it with more color. So I'm gonna wait for these to dry, and then I'll be back for when I put more color on them. Okay guys, so it doesn't take terribly long, like I said, for these things to dry. So, and you can always speed up the process like with a blow dry or something maybe. And so I'm just gonna kind of take these pink colors and just kind of go over the roses with them. Just all of my petals, maybe a little bit inside my swirl. I mostly like to just go over my petals with them, but that was a lot of color. And I love painting outside. I think it's so relaxing, and it's just a nice way to kind of relax and after a long day. But I do want to know, you guys, what's your favorite type of flower? I actually have two. Mine are pink roses, and sorry, mine are pink roses and lilies. I love lilies. I think they're so beautiful. Ooh, or dandelions. I love dandelions. Dandelions are very beautiful. Okay, so sometimes I go over my lines that I made on the inside, but not really. Kind of just go outsides. Take a little more water and kind of blend it out into everything. And your page, and if your page kind of starts to like get a little like the paper kind of starts to fall off, that's okay. Just make sure you don't put any more water on it, because the page might break from being too wet. Or you can let it dry and then go over that color again. Okay, so I made my roses a little bit darker so you can actually see them better. And yeah, so now I'm actually just gonna take some yellow and I'm gonna go over my yellow lines. It's not too much, just a little bit. Just to kind of even out everything, because I feel like when I made my pink petals darker, I should make my little accents a little bit darker too. Okay, so I did that. It's not perfect again, but it's, you know, it's a watercolor rose, and I actually really like it. I think it's very pretty. So, yeah, so I hope you guys like your roses. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little bit of like color onto the background, and I'm gonna make some like little like green sort of leaves, or see these green little things that I have here. I think I'm gonna do that, and I can show you guys how to do that. So if you're done, if you're happy with your roses, you don't have to watch anymore. Great job. I'm sure your roses look amazing, and I hope you had fun making this video. But if you want to stay tuned for how to do like a pretty blue background maybe, and to do some little vines or green leaves or whatever, keep watching. Okay, hey guys. So this part of the video is teaching you guys how to paint the background and the leaves. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take a big fluffy brush for my background, and that's what I'm going to start with. Make sure your roses are pretty much dry when you start this so that the color doesn't bleed. And I'm just going to take this, actually I'm going to mix these two colors. I'm going to take this light blue, okay, and then I'm going to just kind of swirl my brush around in there. And then I'm also going to wet this darker blue color. And so I'm going to put one of the colors down first. And that's a lot. So I'm just going to make it super duper light and pretty and make it kind of look like these flowers are pressed against the sky. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to keep adding water onto my brush. And I'm just going to keep coming from the color and spreading it out with my water. Mix these two. That's a lot again, so I'm just going to spread it out. Make sure I'm not getting too much on my pink flowers. Just going to kind of spread everything out. This part is actually really, really fun. So just going to spread, spread, spread. Okay, and so if you think that the color is a little too harsh, you can add more water, or if you want it to be more blue, then you can go ahead. And I kind of actually like to put a little blue inside the roses. You don't have to do this, but it's just something that I like to do. Once they're dry, you have to do this when it's dry. And not too much, I just kind of take a little bit from my leftover color. And, oh yeah, and if you think that you want more color, just add more paint. So more color, more paint. Less color, more water. Okay, so you can't really see it too well, but we've got a really pretty light blue background. And so I'm just gonna wait for that to dry actually. And after it dries, I'm going to show you guys how I drew those little leaves. If you want to stop here, you can. If you're happy with your roses, please feel free to click off this video. I'm sure your roses look incredible, and I can't wait to see them. Yeah, and I hope you had fun. But if you want to keep watching and learn how to draw the leaves that I have in this picture, then keep watching. And I'll be right back when this is all dry. Hey guys, okay, so my background's all dry now, and so I'm just going to clean off my little skinny brush that I used for the roses, and I'm going to tap it into this really nice green here. And I'm actually, here's what I'm gonna do. So when you wanna mix colors, I like to just kind of put one of the colors up here and then mix it with the other color in that same little bubble. So I'm just gonna kind of do that. And then add a lot of water because this will help your colors mix, and it'll also help your flower-like things, excuse me, your leaf-like vines or just leaves look really, really pretty. Okay, so I've got kind of like a light green there going on there. And you don't have to do this. You can take whatever green you want for these leaves. But this is what I like to do. And so then I'm just going to kind of start from one of these little corners here, and I'm just going to make like a little swirly. Like that. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth a little bit. And there I have a little green vine. So I'm going to kind of do that all over where I think it's pretty. And you can even like do some of the vines from the vines. So like, you guys can see. So like from right here, oops, from right here, I'll show you from here. So I'm gonna pick a little more color because I'm losing it. And so from like right here, I'm just gonna kind of make a little swoop up like that. And it makes a really pretty two little vines. I'm going to do that with this one up here. And I did it with this one on the bottom. So yeah, okay, so those are the vines. You can do however many you like. Does not matter. I'm going to bring my camera up just a tad. Yeah, so here are my vines. And again, if you think that the color is too light, you can always wait for it to dry and go over it, or you can just go over it. Like these, like watercoloring, it dries very quickly, so you can go in pretty quickly and overlap with your colors. Okay, so yeah, you can see that up there. And then yeah, and so, okay, so now I'm actually going to go ahead and draw a few little leaves. So I made my vines. Now I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to do maybe a little bit of leaves like up here. So I'm going to do like this kind of like triangle sort of shape thing. You guys can see? Yeah, you guys can see. Whoops, made a little oopsie. That's okay. Watercolors actually pick up really easily too, so you can take more water and do that. Yeah, so I'm just going to add some leaves, whatever. Okay, yeah, so I just kind of added those kind of everywhere, kind of right here. I added some down there. I don't really know if you guys can see that. And then I added some like right there. And I like how it looks. I'm actually gonna wait for it to dry, and then I think I'm gonna go over it one, like the vines and the leaves one more time so you guys can see it a little bit better. So just gonna kind of go like this. Blow on it a little bit if I have to. I'm just gonna, I kind of like to outline the edges first and then very faintly color everything in. And so yeah, I really love the color green and the color pink. I think they're so pretty. And, you know, feel free to please do whatever colors you want. Let your imagination take you wherever it desires. If you guys want to do blue leaves, go for it. I can't wait to see it. I think it'll be so cool. Whatever you're feeling, just do it. And that's the awesome thing about these roses is that you can do any type of color, and I still think that it would look super duper pretty. So I'm just gonna keep adding a little more color. And remember, everybody may make a mess up in art, but there are no mess ups in art at all. Whatever happens to your paper, you just go with it and you make something beautiful out of it. And I have no doubt that you guys will make something extremely awesome out of any of the art or anything that you guys do. So yeah. Okay, so I went over my leaves a little bit and they're not perfect again, but I kind of just, you know, darkened it up a little bit so you guys could see it a little bit better. So yeah, and so that's kind of how it looks. Remember when you're drawing a leaf, just kind of like make like a downward little triangle like this, like kind of like a bubble. So it should be two lines. It should be up and up for an up leaf and then down and down for a down leaf. And yeah, so, oh, that's actually kind of cool. I'm actually going to stick with that, see? And I'm actually just going to draw another vine connecting to those leaves because I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, so that is, and if you don't like that, you can always just cover it up or take it off with like water, or you can dab it off with your paper towels with some water. But just whatever happens in art, just go with it. I think it'll look great either way. So yeah, this is my finished piece. And yes, there is a blue background here. It looks much better in person. You just can't really see it. And I could make it a little darker if I wanted to, but I actually like having a little bit lighter background, so I'm gonna stick with that. But you guys can obviously add more paint and make it darker. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. This is all I have for the watercolor roses. And I can't wait to see what all of your roses turn out to look like. I'm sure they're all incredible and amazing. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna go now, but thank you so much for watching this video. Bye guys!